Hello all, thanks for tuning in to What's Your Game, episode 15. This week we're joined by Champions Ascension. Actually, is that right? Or is it just Champions? Because your Twitter handle's slightly different. Hang on, let me
Yep.
get this right. Squid, help
Champ,
me out. Champions Ascension?
Champions Ascension.
Yeah, okay. I was panicking because I just saw it said Champions IO. Champions, I'll edit that bit out. Joined by Champions Ascension, Space Royale, and MetaGates. We're going to be covering some updates from previous projects and then jumping into hearing from those games. The aim with this space is to help gaming projects take a step back and consider their game from the player's perspective, answer the big question of what's your game, as well as try and articulate what they're trying to get across to their audience. And we'll probe them with questions just to make sure they're not doing anything silly, like following some Twitter trends, which will end up disappearing in the end. I'm Gaspode, the host for the hour and a half. Love playing games, currently run a YouTube channel that introduces users to games via 60-second intros and first look reviews. I also live play on YouTube and Twitch, playing for Exceed Me as their official Web3 live streamer, as well as doing the marketing and relationships management for a game called Sofrutix that you'll see in the audience. If there's any games listening that want to get a slot, slide into my DMs and we can get you booked up. I think we're booked up all the way till the 1st of October now. But we were always looking for new games to talk to. If anyone in the audience has any questions, you can either tweet to this tweet and I'll read them from there, or you can request to come up and ask questions. We're a pretty free flow space. We do tend to focus mainly on the gaming side, but we will touch kind of like tokens and NFTs, but it's more around kind of the gaming side as we're going through it. Make sure to follow all the games, especially if you're enjoying what you're hearing, just so you can keep up to date with them. And this space is being recorded via Twitter, and it is also being recorded on my laptop to go up on YouTube, and it'll go up on YouTube with timestamps just to make it a bit easier to listen back to later on. So I will just do a very, very quick rattle through of updates. So one update, which I spotted, is Graslow has gone back to using his face rather than a PFP. So that is definitely worthy of a mention. Other kind of updates which have been going on. Time Shuffle, which was a game that we had on previously, has been having another Founders tournament where they do like a snapshot where you can go and play the game as a test. They run it as, I think it's like hour slots, 2-hour slots in one day to kind of have a go through it. Just so that they actually have people, because it's a PvP one, just so that everyone's playing kind of at the same time. The last few have done really well, and I think the last one actually had a 2,000 prize pool. Some more updates coming in from Solo Fox. So we had them up a few weeks ago. They're currently running some Halloween events where, while playing, if you see a pumpkin chest and open it during the game, you can get some prizes. Top prize is 2 Sol or a new NFT. And then there was one more I wanted to do. And then Gyrus, who we had up, I think it must have been 2 weeks ago, have now minted their Maras, which are these weird looking creatures with like fluffy beard things. The art looks really good, but if you haven't seen them, it's really hard to describe what they look like. Actually, I'll pin one to the top because they do look pretty cool. But yeah, that's the updates on all of them. We have now gone through about 38 projects, so I am only picking 3 at a time because we could be here all day doing updates because everyone seems to be putting out a lot of work right now, which is good, and it's what we want to see in the space. But with that, we will go to, I can't remember who said it was 2 o'clock. Was it you, MetaGates?
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, we will go to MetaGates first. Who are you and what's your game?
I am parallel with MetaGates, also known as Nick Liverman. We're a full docs team. So MetaGates is just an idea. It's a game I've wanted to build my entire life. I've played a lot of MMOs, started with Ultima Online, moved on to Asheron's Call, played Darkfall, tried a little bit of RuneScape, and then took a big break from gaming. Did a lot of tech work. I own a a 10-year-old tech company, and during COVID, we ended up getting pretty much shut down, or a lot of our manufacturing was shut down in the tech company because a lot of the parts and products we produced were for um, mainly like dental industry, like Invisaligns and things of that sort. So during COVID, I did a lot of heavy gaming and was playing a lot of Albion Online, which is the spiritual successor of Ultima Online. It's kind of similar to RuneScape. It's an open world PvP game, um, and ended up being number 1 ranked in the entire world for that game. Um, and in the process, they sold the game to Stillfront Group, um, and just heavily patched the game, made it pretty much pay to win, just a huge paywall and boring game where you can't really do any open world PvP anymore. So I just got tired of waiting for another game and decided to build my own. Um, so MetaGates is a spawn of pretty much a lot of my labor, a lot of my capital, and attracted a lot of people that played Albion Online, a lot of people that played other games with me. And we've all just been building this game together for a little over a year now. So we attracted almost 20 people working on our team, and some work full time, some work part time. And we've just been grinding away at building an open world MMO with similar to Albion, where you have MOBA style arenas and PvP instances as well. So you have in Albion, you have like an open world where you venture out into the game. You gather, you craft. Uh, you can build these things called hideouts, where people can kind of have like these safe zones in the wilderness in these open PvP worlds or zones. And you go back to town and you sell your stuff in the market, and you can queue up for arenas, or you can go into these things called Hellgates. So um, Hellgates are like dungeons that 2 teams spawn into. You can have a 2 versus 2 or 5 versus 5 Hellgate, and you go against another team and you kill them and you take their stuff, and then you get the loot at the end of the dungeon. So the name MetaGates, it was kind of like it was before Facebook went with their name Meta. Uh, it's kind of like, you have these builds that you make because each template in MetaGates, it's based off of what you're wearing. So like if you're wearing a plate helmet, cloth boots, leather chest, and you have like an axe, for example, all those items that you're wearing, those are your skills. So like that's the meta that you're wearing into the Hellgate. So we named it MetaGates because we're really into Hellgating, for example, which is like they're the PvP dungeons that I mentioned, and we pretty much built the game around that. So it's built around like a competitive dungeon-based PvP system, but also there's like the open world side as well. So we were in open alpha testing for a little over a year, and we just moved into closed beta. Closed beta is because we just worked extensively with Amazon, AWS, to integrate a lot of really heavy infrastructure, like EC2 instances, GameLift, Cognito, um, all the fun backend like DynamoDB systems, Route 53 for DDoS protection, like all the stuff to actually like release the game and have like a decent population. So currently closed beta, just because when we did open alpha, we were running on a lot of Microsoft Azure infrastructure, which was a lot easier for us to integrate. It was a lot quicker for us to integrate. So once we get all the proper, it's pretty much like stability between the client and the server. Once we get everything just perfected on that end, then we'll just start adding all the layers that we've created. So we've created a combat system, mobs, decent sized open world. It's not too big to where you have like a map simulator. You're running around all day. We've created some instances, basic gathering and crafting system, and then just like that whole instanced huge arena system as well. So there's a lot that we've built, and there are a lot of layers to put into the game over the next few weeks and few months. So a lot of patches coming in, and we just partnered up with Elixir Launcher, which is like a trusted launcher at the moment. We actually got into Elixir Launcher, tried it out with their games a little over a year and a half ago. So it's a pretty smooth process a year and a half ago, and we just followed them. And we've been going to a lot of conferences in real life, a lot of hacker houses. We ran into them a few times and decided to partner up with them because we saw Big Time and a few other games had started using them, and a lot of crypto people, they're really against downloading any kind of exe or installer file onto a computer. So having like a trusted third party mediate that for us, um, it's actually a positive thing. It seems like a lot of people are very much open to that type of idea. So we put the game on Elixir Launcher. We just started sending out our closed beta codes. Really, we don't paywall anyone. If you're a real gamer, you understand that this is like something that we're building. It's not supposed to be some crazy polished thing right out of the hole, and there are lots of bugs and problems and challenges, especially in a closed beta. Then we just let people in. So if anyone's interested in closed beta testing, we'll be getting back to doing PvP tournaments probably even this weekend. But yeah, that's the gist of the game. We also make a lot of physical collectibles. So I own an industrial 3D printing company. That's the tech side. So if you look through like our Twitter, you'll see these like pretty high-end statues that's made with equipment that it's usually made or used for making really high-end medical parts. So that's the gist of our game. Any questions?
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I have a list of questions, but I wrote them down. So I will go to Golden first. I have a feeling that his is going to be about the Elixir launcher, but I'll go to him first.
No, mine has nothing to do with Elixir Launcher. I actually, like you probably didn't understand the Azure and the switch from Azure to AWS, which is tedious to say the least. I can see why you went out of closed alpha. I can see why you went to a closed thing, but it gets very expensive. I'll let you know AWS. Very expensive, very fast. Question I have is, do you have what blockchain? Because I didn't hear it because somebody called me in the middle of it. What blockchain? And do you have a mobile app? Because the game you seem to be sourcing a lot is Albion Online, and they do have a mobile app. So I wonder, you having a mobile app as well?
There's no mobile app. We do have plans for that in the future. But yeah, I understand the price difference in Azure versus AWS. We've been pretty hard on them, telling them exactly what you've been saying. They keep giving us all this data, all this information on how it won't be a lot. So we've been looking at spot instancing, where you like rent the cheapest server, things of that sort, and testing pings. So if it doesn't work out, we could always roll back. I just wanted a large, scalable instance, like zones that hold more than like 100 people, for example, which is what we saw as a limitation with Azure. If you know anything better than that, let me know. I just didn't want to limit each zone to like 100 people. So for the blockchain, we started out on Solana because we were looking at low transaction rates. But after going to a lot of the hacker houses and speaking to a lot of teams on Solana, there isn't a lot built. I've been to 3 different hacker houses, and a lot of the time people pitch us stuff that doesn't exist. And I'm just tired of looking at a bunch of smoke and mirrors. So we've been actually building on ETH at the moment. But really, we were looking at adopting something similar to Blanco's block party, where the majority of the assets stay on a database, and then you just mint them on chain if you want to sell to people. So really, I just see blockchain as a replacement for eBay and PayPal versus, putting an entire game on chain, which is kind of, in my opinion, a little early for that. It's a little tedious for both the user, and it's just a lot of work to build something that works completely on chain unless you have your own parachain. But even an MMO, if you're even moderately successful on a parachain, like just looking at how many transactions happen in the Albion marketplace, like it would completely congest any network. So
I would say then this is some advice. Look into, sorry to say it, but Avalanche, because you can subnet and basically have like your own power chain, or look into Engine or Immutable X.
okay, I've looked into Immutable, and so far whenever we talk to them, they want some sort of Ponzi, which I'm just not willing to do. Maybe I'm just talking to the wrong people. For Engine, the issue is the way that they lock up token value into the NFTs. It could like destroy an in-game economy pretty quickly, just because if degenerates from, like if the Solana type degenerate culture entered Engine, I could be wrong. I just read the white paper. I haven't actually used it, but I saw like 50% of the Engine value stored in each NFT or something of that sort. Is that right?
Something like that. I'm still negotiating and talking to people to actually understand.
So my fear is that like some sort of hype game comes out, and then a game gets completely dumped because you have that 50% liquidity in the NFT. So if degenerate culture entered Engine, it could completely destroy a game's economy overnight. That was like what I saw in the white paper. I haven't actually experienced that. I don't know if that's true, but it's stuff that I saw on Solana, which made me fear Engine after just reading the white paper. But without experiencing it, then, I'm kind of just a layman.
No, I think they're great questions as well, Gordon. And you definitely touch. It's always good to have you up because you always touch bits that I wouldn't be, because I don't know what's being said half the time. I lost you when we left games. But yeah.
I have one last question:
Yeah.
What engine are you using?
Unreal 5. So that's why we don't have mobile.
Okay, that's understandable. I don't have any more questions. I would like to connect with you though. If you follow me or follow me from your real account and then send me a message.
Yeah, of course.
Talking connections, I was also going to pimp out my boy Graslow. Definitely worth sliding into the DMs, because he's got a game called Aldor, which is an MMO, and they have just gone on Immutable X as well. So he's just down in the audience. Got a little goatee, some glasses, Graslow written underneath the picture. But no, I think it sounds really cool. I've pinned to the top your I think I have pinned the video. So if you click on the pinned tweet at the top, it goes to the video. Just for clarity, I think I know the answer. There's a couple of people in the video, but you're only one of them, aren't you? So you're playing with other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually online, usually testable. That's like the tutorial map. It's got some like basic stuff on it. We did a lot of generative world building, so we have a lot of biomes built. We just haven't really gotten that working on a live build properly.
Okay.
But it should be over the next few weeks.
No, that sounds good, and I like the sound of the closed beta, especially if there's codes going for getting onto it. I don't know if the content partners are going to get them on Elixir, but I will definitely be sliding to try and get a code just to try out because I do like the look of it.
Yeah, of course.
But I've got a couple of questions. First off, I don't know if I sent it to you in the in DMs or not, but was the banner art Incarnate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
use
love it.
Incarnate. Yeah.
Brilliant program. Love it. Use it a lot for D&D. My next one, and this is my standard question to all MMOs that are building. Have you played a game called Life is Feudal?
Not really. I kind of know what it is.
Okay.
But no, I didn't play a lot of that.
One day I'll find someone who says yes. It's dead now. I don't. It died. Their MMO completely blew up because of bankruptcy reasons. But it's the game I've spent the longest in ever. So every time someone says MMO, I mention it to see if there's going to be a successor to that, the same way this is a successor to those other games that you mentioned. Um, Hang on, let me go to my. You mentioned to do with kind of open world and PvP. How's that working in terms of kind of loot and stuff?
So you get out into the world, you chop trees, you hit rocks, you kill skin animals, and you make gear. And you go out there and you fight people for better and better resources. The deeper you go into the game, um, the better the resources there are. So if somebody kills you, you drop your stuff. So you actually have to get your stuff back to the city after going deep into the PvP zones. And it's similar to how like Albion Online works, and a
So,
little
so
bit
if
how.
someone so if someone
Sorry, go ahead.
murders me, do I drop literally everything? Can I spawn naked and I've got to run back to try and get any of my stuff?
I
I like
mean,
that. I
your
like that.
your stuff's probably gonna get looted, but but yeah, you're gonna spawn naked, and you're probably gonna have to go to the bank or the marketplace and either re-gear off something you've crafted or buy something from another player that's crafted it.
I really like that, and I like that what you mentioned about kind of the taking it back and crafting when you're there. Because I always think it. I don't know. Sometimes I like those kind of mundane bits of it, but with the sense of danger that someone could suddenly run over and murder you at any point. Um, I don't know. I always enjoyed that kind of bit. Adds a bit more to the kind of PVE element of it.
Oh yeah.
When you're mentioning kind of like hideouts and stuff, how's that going to work? And is there going to be when you mentioned it, I was picturing the idea of like clans where I could work with a couple of friends to have a better hideout, or how's that tying together?
Yeah, so you could set up a house in this game, for example. Hideouts are in Albion. We more wanted to adopt the Ultima Online style, which is just housing. So you have a house and you have different sizes of houses. They're really not necessary. It's more of like a convenience item, and it's more of like something that a guild would own. So if you're out in these deep PvP zones, you can store stuff in these houses, but there's a limited amount of secure storage. So the secure storage is pretty much this double-edged sword because you still have to get it back into the city. Because at the moment, you're not going to respawn in these houses. When you die, you're going to go back to the city. You still have to run back out to the house or the tower or the cabin or the inn that you have out there. So you'll be out gathering, killing monsters, taking things back to these secured storage chests, but there's also unsecured chests. So if you open your door and there's a guy standing there and he attacks you and runs into the house and kills you and you have unsecured storage, then he can start taking that stuff and call his friends and say, all right, we're going to start looting this house over here. And it's a little bit like Rust. So that's it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. You better have a decent-sized team. And then it's also built for the solo and small scale guild players. So let's say you go after, there's like 50 something people out in a PvP zone, and they're all feeling very safe. They've got their big keep out there, and you just go out and pick one guy off who's a big loot pinata. You take his stuff and you just run away. That's also possible as well, and something I did a lot of in other games. But that's kind of how the housing and you know, how you said the hideout system would work. It's this double-edged sword. It's a convenience factor, and it makes people who aren't hardcore PvPers have this somewhat safe zone, but it's not too safe. You could technically run back in the house, but if someone cast AoE spells from a certain angle into the house, they could also kill you in there. And then your loot could technically decay on the ground because it's not in a storage container. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword, and it's a little bit, it's similar to Ultima, as I said, and really early Ultima Online. So
That
that's how
sounds
it
really
is.
cool. I like that kind of PvP full loot kind of style. I like the idea of a house, but you could get murdered like coming out of your house, and it sounds like you're very much wed to that idea as well. Because on Life is Feudal, the one I was mentioning before, they started like that, and then they just kept watering it down, and in the end there hardly was any PvP. And I think that's what kind of killed their player numbers a little bit. So it's good to hear kind of that's the vibe you're going for. I do have one question, but we'll probably circle back around to it near the end if we cover just general bits, because I like some of the stuff you were saying around pay to win, and then also blockchain being more like eBay and PayPal. I think they're very interesting bits. But we might circle back around to those when we do more of a general touch on Web3, because I've got to get Squiddy up for champions before he has to run off to another call. But that has been really interesting. I'll just throw it out. Is there any questions for MetaGates at all? And Forever Average, I see you in the crowd, and we will have to play this. So I've just shouted him out there, so he will have to try and play it as well. Any questions for anyone? Okay, well, if you do have any questions in the meantime, let me know, and we can always circle back around to asking them at the end as well. Like I said, for some reason I haven't got the bubble in the bottom right corner, but I can always have a look. I can always have a look on the actual tweet a bit later. But no, thanks, MetaGates. I will definitely be sliding into those DMs for a code, because I've been watching the videos and the screenshots on Elixir while you've been talking, and I like the look of it. I do think I think I could get kind of lost in it, and that's what I want from MMO, is getting lost in a game.
I appreciate you having me. I'm probably gonna go pass out. It's
No, that is
like
entirely fine. I might just steal your 2 points as talking points for next time I need to write thread, because I like the idea of it being eBay and PayPal rather than needing everything on there. I think that's a great way of thinking about it. But no, you go to sleep. You've earned it,
I
and hopefully
appreciate it.
everyone who's enjoyed listening goes and has a look, and hopefully I'll get to stream it once I get a code, because I think I've got a stream for Elixir one day this week at some point. So maybe that will be my stream as well.
That'd
But no,
be
thanks for
excellent.
coming on.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me. I'll speak to you
and
soon.
yeah, you too. Enjoy your sleep.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Okay, that was MetaGates. Make sure to follow. I've pinned to the top of the video, so definitely go and have a look. I do like the look of it, and I like the idea of pretending I'm friends with Forever Average, letting him build a house with me, and then murdering him and stealing all this stuff. I'm a big fan of full loot, really am. With that, though, welcome everyone quickly to Watch Your Game, episode 15. We've just had MetaGates. We're going to be going to Champions Ascension and then finishing off with Space Royale. If you enjoy any of the projects, make sure you're following people. If you have any questions, welcome to come up for speaker or tag something to the bottom of the tweet to ask any questions. And with that, we will go to Squiddy. Squiddy, who are you? What's the game? What's cracking?
Well, how the turntables, Gaspode. It's nice to have these flipped right now. Usually coming on to my spaces, so it's great to be a guest of yours, my friend.
I know, nice to talk other than just talking via Twitch chat.
Right, absolutely. My number one eyeball, always and forever appreciated.
No.
Yeah, so I'm here. I'm representing Champions Ascension. We are I guess the term AAA has gotten kind of like pounded into the pavement, but we're building a AAA game. Our game studio is Jam City, an established mobile gaming company. Just a ton of gaming vets around, and yeah, we're having a good time. We're currently in our pre-alpha, with combat right around the corner. In order to participate in the pre-alpha in combat, you need to have one of our Prime Eternals. We dropped back in February, and yeah, it's been a fun last few weeks as our players are starting to earn resources, earn loot boxes. There are about 20,000 loot boxes to be had in our pre-alpha right now. So our players, it's open about 4 hours a day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This upcoming one, expect a fan favorite minigame to be back in action after it was being patched up. And then we're introducing a new minigame as well. So a lot of fun stuff, and it's fun to see our players get to track our progress and be a part of the building, as we're in it. So really, really cool. I know our players are having a great time. I'm having a blast. Again, I'm streaming my experiences in Messina. That was the joke I had alluded to. I just wanted to get some Twitch going. Going to eventually build a cool community-based type channel, right? Get some love from the community and kind of make it a fun thing that we can all kind of own, similar to what I did with NFT Philly, but use like those same techniques to build out like a streaming channel by the community for the community. And yeah, so again, Gaspode was my first viewer when I was on Twitch. I'm not really marketing much, throwing a tweet, but Gaspode's been able to check out Champions Ascension with his own eyes, and it's a pleasure to be here in your space, man. Episode 15, that shows you're committed to the bit, and I appreciate what you bring to the space, to the Web3 gaming space, man.
That's very kind. And it's flown over, I'm not going to lie, these 15 episodes. I think we're up to nearly 40 projects now. And I tweeted, I think it was today or yesterday, that it's definitely one of the bits I like about Web3 is that I just get to chat to people making games. And it's the people who are really involved as well. I don't know, it feels a little surreal sometimes. I've pinned to the top I think it's the trailer, but I would definitely recommend going and having a look at the character videos as well as the NFTs themselves, because they look really nice. Like a lot of effort have gone into the artwork on them. For those that kind of haven't seen you playing, what are the mini games and what are kind of people doing at the moment while they're testing?
So we're building a theme park, right? And at the core of the theme park is the Coliseum, is combat. This is real ass combat, right? Like you got to have skills, you got to get the moves down, you got to learn your characters, all the good stuff. You got to know how to fight with your character. Um, so while we're getting ready for that, which again is coming a lot sooner than we think, right? Combat is right around the corner, and a mint is right around the corner. But right now, players can go into Champions Ascension with their own assets, right? So with the NFTs that they own, the Prime Eternals that they own, they can wander around the courtyard of Messina and the Sleeping Carcadon, which is our resident pub. It's our resident bar. They can play a couple of mini games. One of them is called crab racing, right? Players surround the table. They click a crab, and then it's fun to watch, but the crabs just race to the outside and try and get to the finish line. And then the first three that finish, they get tickets. So again, players are grinding tickets. The second one is called Drunk Racing. Your players are in the courtyard. I can pin after I explain this. I can pin some of the stuff that I've streamed. But the Drunk Racing has been the biggest fan favorite so far. This was the third mini game that we added. The users 6 at a time run from point to point and chug beers. And each time that they get to a point and chug a beer, it gets harder to move in each direction. And it's like a dizzy bat, right? So you're moving one way, then the directions will switch on you fast. once you have more beers. Players are able to earn tickets that way, and it's a lot of fun. That one cracks me up too because people like to use their bigger characters and just block, right? If there are certain players, maybe it's someone from a different guild, someone from a quote unquote rival, right? Hey, let's try and play defense. So other players are like having a good time. They're all on the voice chat and they're able to like block each other and try and impact in that regard. So we got crab racing, drunk racing. We've got Dudo, which is a game of essentially liar's dice. If anyone's played liar's dice before, it's kind of similar to the card game bullshit. And it's fun too. Again, when you go into that room, it's a table of, I believe, 5. And the table of 5, again, it's its own private chat room, so you can text and you can be on voice chat and playing liar's dice. And then you get winner gets top 3 place to get tickets. That's the longest place in game. And then there's a new game that we're going to be announcing soon. So it's going to be a fun new game, and I recommend checking in the stream and the game to see what that's going to be about. But it's going to be a social game. So.
No, and I think that's quite key what you're saying about building a theme park with all the games being fun party-ish games. I did like the drug racing. I think that always seems fun. And I like the fact that when everyone's playing, it is kind of, I want to say open mic, but that's not what I mean. Proximity chat.
Yep.
So people are just chatting around. You're always running up and shouting at people, and you can just hear people having little conversations as you walk past them, or screaming as they can't actually run in the right direction for the drunk racing.
I wonder how many people have muted me.
But I do think it has got that kind of fun, you're this character going around just messing around together kind of feel to it, which, to be fair, first off, was not what I was expecting when I saw the characters and they had these big weapons and stuff. But I actually really like it, and I do think it's quite enjoyable. It seems quite relaxing, especially when people have been playing it. And then you did have some pets as well that you see running around, and I've just pinned some pets to the top, which look super cute. You mentioned the combat, knowing what you're doing and stuff like that. Is there going to be like a skill tree upgrade or anything like that, or is it solely what you have as your NFT that matters,
No,
and then your skills in game?
It's fully skill based.
Okay.
There's going to be some advantages again for our Prime Eternals, and Divine Parts might have a little boost in some battles. You can read the white paper. It kind of goes into some hints of those. But yeah, it is a combat game. You need to have skill. So again, it's nice to have a good character, but there are ways, you can have a quote unquote floor Prime Eternal and be able to take down and beat a Prime Eternal that's ton of, very, very pure and it's got divine parts or whatever.
And if I've got, so is my Prime Eternal going to be like anyone else's, or are they all unique, or can I skill them up to be different, or how does that work?
So I can't get too into the technicalities of that because I don't want to misspeak, and it comes
Okay.
a lot better. It comes a lot better from our devs, right? I'm a lucky dude where again with my role with this game and how I help build this game, it's all about the people, right? Kind of like the community and sales and just like being able to chat and experience and play the game and help be a representative voice of the people that are playing this game, right? So when it comes to those absolute specifics, I know that there will be ways where you can improve your champion. That I definitely can say for sure. And again, like there'll be eventually with the land and everything and the resources, it's gonna be the whole thing.
No, that sounds cool. And with it kind of having these winnings, is there going to be like leaderboards? Are we going to be able to flex on people showing how high up you go, or is it just beating them one at a time, showing them that you're better than them?
Yeah, there will be flexing opportunities. Absolutely, there already are flexing opportunities just by people like flashing their wings, and you're like, oh yeah, I've got a divine wing, right? And then they keep doing the cheers emote, which flexes the wing. And again, we got some friends in the house. So shout out to my Twitter friends and other friends that are in the chat. Special shout out to Wako, although I think he actually just left. He's one of our producers. Diablito, we got up and to the right. He's got a gangster collection. We got Anna in the house. What's up, Block Stars? Mad love for Block Stars. We got the Pirates, and I can't help myself, man. I see my friends out there, and I've got that host in me, so I gotta show love to my people. What's up, Jinkerin? What's up, Diablito? Again, one of the Twitch fam. All right, I think that's my hellos.
We're giving everyone a big wave. Hello, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're pumped because again, like we think when with this game, NFTs. I always say NFTs are the ultimate, you know, level the playing field, right? It's the great equalizer. So especially in this game, right? I think it's an unbelievable opportunity for content creators, people who are interested in esports, right, to get involved and be at the early stages of this project. Because by having a Prime Eternal, like, you know, it's a process. A lot of people would love to pre-alpha test, you know, huge great games from big studios, right? And this is exactly what we offer.
No, I think that's true, and I think it's interesting to hear the esports side because I think that'll be a really interesting thing to watch, especially as that's what the game's kind of themed around. With there being a coliseum, that being a content creator in a coliseum showing you battling,
Yeah.
I think it's got a nice ring to it from like a historical point of view. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm going to be making content like this as like a shoutcaster, right? I love shoutcasting. I like calling games. I go absolutely nuts. You know how I do when I get excited, right? So I'm gonna have a good time too. I'm already preparing ways that I'm gonna be making content for champions just by like having fun in the game and just doing fun, good community shit, and integrating my NFTs and all that. So like I'm pumped, right? Because there's been many times where I would be at a game and like Pokemon Go was the most recent one. When Pokemon Go came out, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be an OG with this too because I know that these guys are at the forefront of what they're doing. Niantic and like with the AR, and again, Pokemon's the strongest IP in the world. And again, it took about 3 years for combat to come out, right? For PvP to come. Yeah, I was like, all right, from here on out, whenever there's something I like, game I like, I'm gonna be early, right? And if I see that I'm early, I'm gonna stick with it because I had missed some of these opportunities in the past. This was back before like gaming was a legit industry that people can enter, right? So I was like, no, go do your homework. You're not gonna be doing anything, playing games and all this fun stuff. But here we are now, Mom.
Look at you
Right?
now.
What's up?
No, I think that is true, and I definitely think that people still don't understand exactly how much you can get involved with. Because I can't, like, I do some programming and stuff for work, but nothing to do with anything like what the games are here now. Yeah, I get to be really involved with them, and I think I really like that, and I like the idea of what you're saying of being early. I absolutely hate the phrase "we're early," "it's early," "we're doing early," because everyone says it all the time that I kind of want us just to do an announcement when we're not early anymore. But I kind of get it in the sense that you're saying with a game, find one you love, be early for it, and then kind of be involved with building that community and that community content, like you were kind of saying.
Yeah, and again, it starts my whole Top Shot thing too, and how I go about community. It's like, all right, when I'm looking at communities and things I want to get involved in, my first thought is, all right, how can I bring value to this project? To this, I'm about to spend my time in this project. How can I bring value to this project? How can I bring value to this too? So I want to make people who want to do content, want to do things. I want to give them, we've got a badass game that's happening right now, right? And again, there are a lot of win-wins to be at stake. So, again, one of the things that I have a fun time at is, when people reach out, how can I get involved? I say, hey, get involved, start making some content because I'll share it from the main account, right? This game is made for user-generated content, and I'm excited to see like which content creators kind of like rise out of the ashes and become like the champions ones because this game's not going anywhere, right? It's one of the, you know it's just not. It comes from
Yeah.
with our studio. It's really like it's funny. I try and think of ways where I have to like kind of prove. I don't have to prove anything, right? Like this, the game studio has been making games for a decade. It's not like some random unknown studio. So I'm really excited. It's allowed me to really put my head down and build and foster relationships, and yeah, get to talk to some people and help some creators grow.
I would like I like the fact that you say about the retweeting and stuff and sharing it. I think that's key, and I think a lot of projects miss out on doing that either by worrying whether the content's good enough to retweet or just not being active enough on Twitter. But personally, and this is definitely selfish from my point of view, but I think if someone does something on your game and tags you in it and you don't retweet it, you've lost yourself something there. I know for the kind of Sofrutic side, when we go out with the game and if someone's doing something, it will be sharing it because in kind of this space, there's a lack of trust in general. And you need people who are creating it outside of the company to show how it works, show how they've enjoyed it, to kind of help build that credibility and trust. So if you miss out on using that, I think you've just kind of shot yourself in the foot a little bit. We do have a question though, Jinky.
It's more of a statement because you said it, and you know me. So we're early is a phrase that I absolutely hate in this space, and the reason I hate it is because Web3 is early. Gaming's been around for decades at this point. So to say that we're early in Web3 gaming is actually a falsity. We're early in Web3, but we are not early in Web3 gaming.
Okay. Yep. No, I agree. But he is early. He is early for champions. There we are.
Yeah, so I would say Squiddy's early in the sense that it's one of the MMOs that's actually encouraging user-generated content. The only other MMO I can think of to even remotely relate it to would be Neverwinter Nights. They're the only MMO I'm aware of in the Web 2 space that has ever actually allowed user-generated content to be a core focus of the game. So I could actually say Squiddy's project's early because he's the second game I'm aware of that's ever done anything like this.
Yeah, and we're early in the process with champions, right? We're coming up on like 1 year, which is early when it comes to making a big ass game. So, yeah, game making's not new, as you said, but we're early in the champions lifestyle. That is for sure.
I agree with that. It's just every time I hear that phrase, it's usually somebody saying we're early because they have a bad game. Not saying that's you. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, and people can say we have bad game if you want, but like I know that's not true, right? Like that's one of the nice things. One of the things that attracted me to this is like the quality of the game is going to be the least of my problems, least of my concerns because of the studio that comes behind it and just like being with it all day. I have a call in 6 minutes, Gaspode. So if if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, so we'll throw it out to hand. And why are you saying that? I think that is part of what draws me to certain games, especially, is that you're putting in loads of effort, and I'm not saying you're not, but the game's good that you don't have to try and beat a dead horse to show it's good, kind of thing. Having a good game and then marketing it is definitely better than trying to sell someone a poo rolled in glitter. I saw Jinky first.
Yeah, so I actually do have a question for Squiddy because I like to pull alpha out of people, and we got a decent turnout right now. Squiddy, I've talked to you before in previous spaces, so I know the answer. But for the folks here, you are going to be rewarding people who generate content for your game, correct?
Correct.
You want to elaborate on that, or we just leave it there?
I can't elaborate on that yet. I do know that we're working on a plan that we'll be able to kind of present to people, to say, hey, this is kind of what we have in mind. Don't know when that will come out, but that's something that I can confirm that we are working on, something that I'm excited about. For now, again, Gaspode mentioned trust. I operate everything on trust right now, right? Which is like, you need some trust in order to, sometimes you got to trust and get lucky. You have to hope that you trust the right people. So that's trust has gotten me to where I'm at in this spot, and just trying to connect with people that I trust or that I'm happy to like take a chance with. Right. So especially when I'm talking with people now, and especially they have primes and all this stuff. So I was like, listen, you got to trust in the game, trust in the game makers. And if you believe in this product and you want to help bring value to this, I'm going to do whatever I can to help facilitate that on top of it. Right. So I'm excited to unveil what the content structure will look like. I have no idea what that will look like. We've got smart people that are working on it.
No, that sounds really good, and I'm excited to hear kind of what comes out of it. We've got a question from Astromas, but he does have a call in 3 minutes, Mr. Console. So keep it concise.
Oh no, I can't waste time myself. It's nighttime here. Squiddy, my question is to ask, did you get the body before you started building Champions IO, as well as has that helped you in community building?
Yeah. So I got this board A for 3.4 ETH. So I've been holding for a while. It kind of helped show, especially at the time. And again, the blockchain doesn't lie, right? So like I'm not a I didn't spend $100,000 on a profile picture to try and be cool, right? I got it for a specific reason, and I think that resonates with a lot of people. And it's definitely opened up some doors, right? I had it as my LinkedIn profile before it was like popping off, right? So being able to kind of point back to that and say like the specific reasons that I got it, and being early in that, and I hate saying early, but like, you know, it's got some cachet that I had this and I've held it through the ups and downs, and because like I like it for specific reasons. I got it because I like, you know, I like what it stands for, and I like the art, and I like the community around it at the time. I never had a plan to sell it. I was like, hey, if this thing doubles in value in a year, that would be pretty cool. Luckily, it did more than that. I have a bunch of garbage NFTs too, but when I was collecting them, I was working for Dapper Labs and NBA Top Shot at the time, and I couldn't collect Top Shot moments anymore. So, Bored Ape was next.
And I think you're I think you're cool without it, Squiddy. There you go.
Say that again?
I think you're cool without it. There you go.
I appreciate it. But yeah, it definitely has helped. And like when it comes to like networking and marketing, it's definitely been beneficial too. Because again, when people dive into me and like what I represent, if they do their own research on me, I like what they'll be able to find. Right, I try and stick to, all I could do is be myself, and I just keep that in this space. I'm a lifetime community builder, and yeah, it's helped me kind of like resonate and see these things for what they are. Right, being able to kind of professionalize it.
Okay, in 60 seconds, I'm going to say thank you, Squiddy. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Champions Ascension. Hopefully, I don't make you life your cool. Everyone, do the follows. Keep a lookout. Keep a lookout for Squiddy on Twitch if you want to see more of what's going on. And all the content creators down on the floor, keep an eye out for how they're going to be rewarding content creators. But thanks for coming on, Squiddy.
If you want to collect 2 people from the space and collect their address, you could do a giveaway, have them follow. You know, we can get them on my personal allow list for the upcoming free Elemental Mint. If you want to do something in that regard.
Okay, yeah, I will do.
Let's do.
I'll think of how to do it.
Let's do 3 spots. That's a pretty good chance. 22 people here.
Yeah, I will think of something, and I will give you the names and the wallet addresses.
All right, guys. Thanks everyone for your time, and thanks for having me, Gaspode. Always a pleasure.
Great. Thanks for coming on. Okay, I will try and think how we're going to do that. Okay, I know. I will. I'm not prepared for this sort of stuff. While I'm trying to sort this out, thanks for everyone coming. We are at What's Your Game, episode 15. We've heard from Champions Ascension, MetaGates, and we are about to hear from Space Royale. I will just get this pinned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little tweet, and then if people comment on this, if you know the crack. Okay. Okay, so I've tweeted. Comment on this if you know the crack. I've pinned to the top a tweet which says, comment on this if you know the crack. Go like I'm trying to think what the Twitter picker needs. Go like that tweet and follow Champions Ascension and Squiddy. And then we'll do a draw at the end for who's going to get those 3 allow lists for their upcoming mint. So I will do that. So go and do stuff to that tweet at the top. And also, while we're doing giveaways, if anyone's interested, any Sol, my pinned tweet is a giveaway that has reached 2 Sol at this point. But without further ado, we will move over to Space Royale. Who are you? What's the project? What's cracking? What's your game? That's what I should say, because that's the title, isn't it?
Good evening, Gaspode. Thanks for having us on. So tonight you've got some me. I'm Francois. I am the project lead for Space Royale. So you can talk to me about anything about partnerships, game methodology, sort of gameplay. I'm the cool community builder within Space Royale. And yeah, so let me go back to the beginning then, really. So we started the project in November 21. I was heavily invested in NFTs. I got sucked into the rabbit hole of NFTs, absolutely love everything about them. But also fell victim to quite a few rugs along the way. and so did a lot of people in the communities I've been in. And as an entrepreneur and a retailer, I'm doing my own tech startup at the moment. I know how hard it is for businesses to get big communities and to sustain them. So it was absolutely infuriating me seeing these rugs, and I was like, I need to do something. Happens to be one of my best mates is an absolute wizard, and he runs his own experiential web agency, and also a few of the other team members are well established in big companies, but that support with marketing. So we've got a bit of a dream team amongst my friends. So we were like, right, we want to build something within the Web3 space that is absolutely incredibly fun. We're all gamers, we love gaming, and we want to make something really, really fun. And B, we want to show people that you can build something really fun, great, before taking everyone's money, and have it ready before mint, and create a great community before mint, before using all this fake hype stuff and watching everyone's bags drop. So so we set out, we absolutely love space, and we love all space films, space games, and so we were like absolutely hell-bent on we want to do something in space, and then we created Space Royale. And the idea of Space Royale is, I'm going to get confused because I get lost in, it's such a big world we've built. So I'm going to kind of probably get lost along the way. So you might have to pull me back, Gaspode. But yeah, so we are trying to build an immersive project where it's lore driven. So at the moment, it is the world is coming to an end. Empress Pandora, her planet's resources are dwindling on the planet, and she believes the only result to survive for her people to survive is to leave the planet and to explore other galaxies. I'm a pilot. I'm the pirate training commander. I was captured during trying to rob some of the space cargo, and now my punishment is to train up pilots to fly the fleet that's going to be traveling these different galaxies. So the game basically is we have 1,000 starships. They're all individually created, all very unique, and they will be. Everyone in our Discord is training to be a pilot, and the top 1,000 people in our Discord will receive a pilot's license, and they will be able to mint on mint day. And in order to sort of achieve a pilot's license, we've created lots of different games within our Discord. Things like a battle royale Discord game where you choose an academy phaser, a lightsaber, a hacking tricoder, and it's kind of like a rock paper scissors game. And it's kind of a community one where you will vote to who wants to who to be revived, and you and then it battles to the end. And then we've also got a Jeopardy game. So the whole objective of that game is to fly to the end and fly the furthest. So lots of different planets will pop up, and you'll have to choose which one you want to. So like it'd be like a B, C, D. Choose your destination, and then each round one drops off, and then until there's one survivor left at the end, and then you'll win your XP to get your to move you up the ranks within the academy. But yeah, so I've just absolutely whirlwind. Please slow me down, Gaspode, because I'll implode myself because I've got so much to talk about.
No, I like what you. I wrote down some questions already. Just I've pinned to the top I think it's a GIF. I thought it was a video. It's saying it's a GIF apparently, which shows kind of part of it. Just for those who kind of haven't seen that yet, what's the style of the game, and kind of what are people doing when they're in the game?
The actual game.
Talk them through it. Yeah.
Is I'm just gonna get a glass of water because my voice is going. So the style of the game is. Have you ever played Catan?
No. Oh, actually, maybe. Is that the board
It's-
game?
Yeah. So if you imagine a board
Okay.
game, all of your NFTs will be visible on the on this board game. But so you'll log into our website. You'll choose which ship you want to fly. All of these ships have individual stats like an attack, a defense, a mining capability, and there's five. Can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Attack, defense, and speed. And your objective is to move within. So there's 13 galaxies. All of these galaxies have different time zones. The galaxies will look like lots of different hexagons. The time zones are how quickly your action points renew. So the objective of the game is to warp tile to tile and explore for soul matter. Soul matter is not a cryptocurrency, it's just a game currency. We really don't want to create a new currency. We're not tokenomic experts. We just want to, the token we want to use within our game is Solana. So your objective of the game is to collect soul matter and transport it back to a soul port and cash it in for Solana. But the problem is soul matter is rare. It's not everywhere. So the objective of the game is to warp, explore, or battle. So you'll have action points, 5 action points a turn, and you'll use a certain number of those action points to explore in one sector. And in that sector, when you explore, it's like a fruit machine. And you have the option of winning an NFT, a quest to go and help another NFT community. There might be something like a stoned ape pops up on your screen. He's lost in space. He needs help taking to another sector within a certain time frame. And if you can do it, you'll win the NFT. You could win a Solana airdrop instantly. You could win a power up or a boost for your ship. Or you could find absolutely nothing, or you could find soul matter. Then the objective of the game is to fill up your cargo and take that back to a soul port and cash it in. But at the same time, you can battle other ships and steal their soul matter. So there's a picture 1,000 players playing this game in lots of different sectors. So it could be absolutely chaos in some of them. So you're trying to get your stuff back to a soul port. The soul ports will move. They won't stay in the same location. Or there'll be a battle royale galaxy as well, where the sectors will close in until there's one winner, and there'll be a sort of a tournament mode where there will be prizes at the end of that. But yeah, so it's kind of, if you can imagine, you're moving around, darting around this map of hexagons, searching for Solana or soul matter to cash in for soul. That's basically the objective of the game.
I think it sounds really interesting. I don't know why I sound so surprised when I said that, but I think it sounds really interesting. When you mentioned Catan, it's only because I've got the subtitles up that I knew the game, because I've never actually said it out loud.
It's actually nothing like Catan, but the hexagons are like that. Yeah, that's kind of the only thing.
Yeah, I get the hexagon idea, and I think so. I was mentioning before that I do D&D maps and use a lot of hexagons for travel and stuff in that. So because these guys down here, they think I'm really cool, play games, but I love D&D and board games. So kind of shattered some of their dreams probably. But no, I love the idea of a board game like that. So I think it sounds really cool.
So Elron's convinced, Elron, who is designing the game, so we're all designing the game, but he's obviously the brains putting it all together. Is that apparently he's had to solve quantum physics to try and work out how to move things around in hexagons. But yeah, there is 3 factions at play. So there's 1,000 ships, and there's 3 factions. There's the Resistance, the Empire, and the Corporation, and all of them, so there'll be weekly tournaments happening, and when you win a battle in a tile against another faction, you flip the tile to that faction's color, and the winner at the end of the week or a certain time period that has the most tiles will get a share of the profits, kind of thing. Their faction will win, but at the same time, you can also be a pirate. So if you attack one of your own factions, you get a bounty on your head, and you can pay to clear that bounty, or which risks you'll have to pay some of your soul matter, or you risk having every ship on the game descend upon you to try and steal your soul matter with extra bounty on your head. So there's lots of different factions at play. I'm really, really intrigued to see how the game plans out. Of will people set up mining corporations, DAOs, to try and work out trade routes to get things to protect their routes back to of collecting things. We have lots of crazy ideas what we want to do in our future phases. We've only written down 5 phases to begin with, but there are some crazy places we can take this game. Ultimately, we just want to create lots of really experiential shit, things that people haven't done before, and put that into a game and make a really crazy fun game. There's so many ways to play this game that I can see, and I'm sure other people can find lots of different ways to play this game. But ultimately, we want to bring in every single community in Solana into this game. We can turn your NFTs into spaceships and put you in a different galaxy. You can all fight each other for your own tokens or whatever. So there's lots of places we can take it. So we've just been going on a journey right now. We're not really pumping any marketing. We opened a Discord in March, and we started doing some whitelist collabs, and we realized that's completely the wrong thing to do, because we just get people who join who don't even read up on the project. So we've just gone completely kind of doing a few tweets every now and then, and until we're at closed alpha, we've just signing off closed alpha, moving into beta, and that's when we're getting all of our. We have a small collection of 13 pioneer ships, which will be our first people into the galaxies. So there are 13 galaxies, and each of those ships will be going to one of those galaxies, and they get to explore them before anyone else. And they can learn the map and learn how it's going to play. But they're also so those we're at ship 10 now, so we've got another 4 to give out, so 10, 11, 12, 13. And once that's completed, we'll move to the kind of open beta testing with our OGs. That's kind of, and then we'll start marketing, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, because you do have a lot of collabs where it comes in and then goes, I won whitelist, and then you never hear from that person again, and they're just going to mint your spaceship and sell it on.
Yeah, I think Anna was in here. I've told her so many times that. But to be honest, a lot of those people who have left have ended up being our best community members, because I've tried to find out why they've left, and then they've come back and actually read up on the project. So I've reached out to. If you look at my pending friends requests, I've got about 1,000 pending friend requests from everyone who's left our Discord, just trying to get some feedback. But yeah, and
I think Anna was mentioning that on another space, actually. She was holding it up as an example as what people were doing. Yeah,
I'm relentless for it, and so yeah, you're not leaving without a friend request.
Yeah.
But also there are no bots in our Discord, and I'm relentless at finding those as well. So some people popping in from a whitelist collab will see, oh, there's only 700 people in the Discord, but to be honest, we've got a 1,000 mint. And we're making an absolutely crazy game, and you guys haven't even seen what we're making yet. So we're not even worried about that right now.
I'm not going to shame myself at whether I'm in the Discord or not, because I'm currently in 100, so I'm at my cap. So I do need to kick some more. I just see a Discord and join a Discord. I always say it.
You've not got Nitro.
Sorry, I didn't get that. It broke up.
Have you not got Nitro?
See, people keep telling me about it, and I don't know. Like, to be honest,
right. Send me a Discord. I'm going to gift you Nitro now, so you can come and boost our server.
Right. I will. Before we go down the rabbit hole of all the Discords, I do have a couple of questions on the game. So, with the
sorry, I lost you.
It's really cool.
I lost you there. Sorry. Can you repeat that? Yeah.
I think it sounds like it's different board games within board games, because flipping people's tiles to win is one kind of board game already. So I think that sounds really cool, how those bits are being tied together. And I know you mentioned about having DAOs coming in and trying to secure the mining. And I probably wouldn't call them DAOs. I'd call them like guilds or something. But only because it sounds like a proper game mechanical reason for people to work together, rather than just working together to take money out of a project? Because it sounds like it'd be quite hard if you were kind of just working on your own and people could just be picking you off all the time.
Oh, in terms of sorry, it keeps dropping out a little bit. So in terms of people being picked off, so there will be people who have got lots of ships, but we want to keep moving things around in the game. So if there are big hordes of people accumulating with lots of ships blocking up trade routes and stuff, there will be actions within the game that take place that try to prevent that. So we will be there'll be a bounty kind of put on. We'll build the law around what's going on in the game. So yeah, there'll be lots of different ways that we try and keep things moving and entertaining. Because the number one point of this game is to make it really fun. So if things do start happening like that, we'll just bring it into the game and make it a scenario, or bring a new fleet of ships into that can kind of help out and support.
And is it only going to be people with a ship who can play? So you are kind of limiting yourself to 1,000 players at the moment.
So it's kind of, we want to see how it plays with 1,000 people. I would say that's kind of like a beta.
Okay.
The next phase would be to bring in another X amount of ships, depending on. So phase 2 would be a new fleet, depending on how things are playing or whether or not there's new galaxies being implemented. But like I said before, we can turn anyone's NFT into a ship and have them playing in some way or form. But also you will need to stake your game to actively your ship to actively play. So you'll need to stake it to play. However, you can let your ship's AI take over. So you can passively play this game. So if you don't want to stake your ship will still explore the galaxy and find Solana airdrops. And you could still earn passive income on just letting it explore and other people attack it. So that's kind of one feature we're trying to bring in.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. No, the way you're describing that. I'm just trying to, because what I'm thinking is, like, for games, you never want to kind of limit how many people can play. But I like the sound that you're just testing it to see how it works out, because it does sound like there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Can you upgrade?
So the battle royale mode, everyone.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone will be there will be no kind of limit onto the battle royale mode. So we can have that. So anyone who doesn't own a ship or can enter a ship, or we're still kind of building that part out. So that could be our feature where everyone can play in the beginning. But I think we just want to we need to test a lot of things out in the beta, and we also need to see how it plays with 1,000 ships playing, and how can we make it optimal fun.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I'll open it up to questions for anyone on the floor. So if anyone puts any hands up while I ask this one, and then I'll come to you guys. With it being, so you've got a certain amount of action points to do a certain amount of things with, do they then fill up in kind of like timed situation? So it's not like a real-time board game I'm playing over kind of days and weeks sort of thing.
So this is something that popped up in the alpha. So originally we had it would refresh every 300 seconds your action points, but we realized actually it can kind of get quite boring quite quickly. So we are kind of looking at the action point system and maybe redoing it and not having action points. So we're kind of just exploring that mode. So we want it to be something that you can keep playing and having fun. And you don't want to have to, I've played a lot of NFT games where you have to wait like 12 hours for a whole turn refresh. This is not what we're about. We're trying to make something that is really, really fun. Elron's convinced it's a poo game that you'll want to play when you're on the toilet. I want to make something, and we want to make something that's a bit more than that. We want it to be something that you might want to talk to your friends down the pub about, kind of thing, or just have a bit of a laugh about. This is, we do kind of take the mick out of a lot in our Discord. If you look at our lore, you'll see lots of influence from different space genres. We're not 100% serious. We want it to be like we're a bit silly. Things are going to be a bit crazy, but ultimately it needs to be fun. We're not going to sit around making people wait hours for a turn to refresh.
No, I think that makes sense, because I play or played a couple like that, and I do like them, but I just forget. Like, I'm really bad at just forgetting to play. If I've had to go away and go and do something else, I would just forget I was doing it. But we've got a question. Oh, sorry.
Okay, carry on. Go for it.
I was just going to say, we've got a question coming in from Astromust. Astromust, what's cracking?
Hey, Space Royale. We
Hey.
are a space game as well. Though scrolling your page, I see you guys are more of a pixelated 2D art style.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, what's the reason as to why you chose the Solana blockchain?
So Solana blockchain, we kind of love that it's speed originally, and B, that's where I fell in love with NFTs and the Solana blockchain, and that's where all the communities that I've been in. I was raid hard into the night. Every community I've been in, I'm a diamond hand holder, and I want to see Solana thrive, which is why we felt we needed to make something that is extremely fun for the whole ecosystem, and something that can bring all the projects in, and help grow this ecosystem and create some crazy games that maybe we can go on and build more games in the future. So everything we're building is we're building a future-proof platform that we could use to go and do other projects with. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing on Solana.
And from hearing you speak, you sound British. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, yeah, I live in London.
So does Gaspode.
I don't have a beautiful accent like Gaspode, though.
I wondered where you're going with that, Astro. Yeah, can you confirm that you are British? And then I thought there was going to be some sort of follow up. But oh yeah, I used to be from the south, and I'm now from up in Newcastle. So I've travelled up a bit. It's very cold, is all I'm going to say. Do we have any more questions for Space Royale?
Maybe.
We've got a Georgie's.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, I wanted to ask. The game will be web-based, right? And why did you choose that platform? And if it's gonna be like mobile first designed, or what is your like targeted user?
So yes, it is web based, and yes, it absolutely needs to be able to be played on mobile. But so we're building it out on desktop first, but we are optimizing it as we go to be able to be played on mobile. The trickiest part is how to make the whole map system work on mobile and make it really pretty at the same time, and not too clunky. And that's something we've been spending a lot of time working on. So yeah, it's yeah, both. We're trying to build it for both, and yeah, that's where we're going.
Okay, well, that sounds really cool. Thanks for coming up and talking about your game. Everyone, before I close us out and say thank you more to Space Royale, I've pinned to the top a tweet that says, comment on this if you know the crack. I will be using Twitter Picker to pick people who have liked that tweet and follow Squiddy and Champions.io, and Squiddy will be giving away 3 allow lists for their upcoming mint. So if you're interested in the allow list for Champions.io, go and do that, and I will be doing the picking in 2 minutes' time. Space Royale, thanks for coming up and sharing the game. I really like the sound of it. I do like the idea of board games.
Well, thanks very much for having us.
For me. Yeah. Oh, that's all right. And the door's kind of always open for if you have any big updates, or kind of when the mint alert goes live, you can always come back on and talk to us more. I will try and keep an eye out for any updates myself on announcements to say kind of at the front of the show, but the door is always open for coming back. If people have liked what they're hearing, go in that Discord, because you're not just going to get a whitelist for nothing on Space Royale. You've got to go and play, grind.
Well, actually, that's the trick of things. It's actually, we don't want people grinding. I run a business. I don't have time to be watching people grind all day, although I am on it every day. The game that we've set up, so our battle royale simulator, you select a weapon, and at a certain time of day, that battle will play and with everyone who's selected a weapon. So you just need to pop on and select an emoji each day to get XP, and it's like a lottery. And if you're involved, yeah,
go on.
Yeah, so if you're around, you can help people to revive, and they have a better chance of winning. But yeah, so anyone who's in this Twitter space now, if you join the Discord, we'll give you a nice boost, which should rank you up a couple of ranks. And the ranks before mint, we're also doing free NFT drops. It's a secret NFT drop, but before we announce our mint date, everyone in our Discord and anyone who has submitted a wallet onto my personal Twitter pinned message will be getting airdrops of a secret NFT.
A thing. Okay, and no, I think that sounds good. I know Graslow down there for Oldor, they did a pet mint where people got a pangolin, and Jinky was lucky enough to get a fire pangolin. I still like my pangolin though, even though it's not a fire one. But no, thanks for coming up, and thanks to all our projects. Unfortunately, we have lost everyone as they've gone between phone calls and going to sleep. That is the worry of time zones. I know with my Sofrutix hat on, I've been invited onto one, and it's midnight, which is late for me because like 10 o'clock's my bedtime. So I don't know how they're doing it at 2 a.m. when they're getting up to come and talk on Twitter Spaces. That is obviously dedication. But I will try and do this Twitter picker now for the Squiddies bit. If I read your name out, DM me, and then I will take your ETH address off you and give it to Squiddy, and he will put you on the allow list for Champions Ascension's next mint. He didn't say when it is, but I'm pretty certain it's soon, because I'm sure I've heard him talking about it a lot recently. So I'll just do that Twitter picker in bit. Why isn't it doing it? Tweet must have at least what? Oh, okay, right. So that doesn't work because apparently it doesn't. That's not how Twitter picker works. Hang on. Let's see. Prize wheel. Okay, I'll get a prize wheel. I don't want to buy one. I just want a random name picker. This is going to be.
Gaspode.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure hearing all the projects you presented to the community. I'm going to excuse myself. It's minutes to midnight here, and I got to rise and shine tomorrow. Jinkirin, you made a statement which I resonate with on the we are Ali sentiment. We have to keep building and pushing no matter the time frame. Golden, nice to meet you, my friend. Always a pleasure seeing you around. Smash Marbles, Graslow, Anna, Ishan, Miggy, and everyone in the room. Thank you all for attending this lovely space. Catch you guys in the next game fight themed Twitter. Much love.
Yep.
Take care.
And that fills the time nicely while I'm busily typing everyone's name who liked the post into this wheel that I'm now having to use because I don't understand how Twitter picker works, apparently. I don't know, I assumed you just put it in and it did it, but apparently not. Okay, so we have a total of 8 people who have entered by liking the comment. I'm just going to assume you've all done the good thing and followed Squiddy and Champions.io because I can't be bothered doing that manually. So I'll spin this 3 times and then I will tell everyone what it is. Okay, so we got our first one. So IC is a winner, and they were here, but I feel they might have gone. So we've got IC as 1. Okay. Except I'm writing these down, so I will get in contact with you. I'll DM you rather than you having to DM me. I see. We have Ishan, and I'm sure I saw Ishan. Yeah, Ishan, you were still there. Congratulations. And then last one. Okay, and last one is Jinky. So there we are. 3, and that was difficult. Next time, if someone's going to give something away, maybe I'll be a bit more prepared on how I do it. I feel rugged by Twitter Picker. I thought that was its whole purpose, was to do what I thought it was going to do. But I will message you people for ETH addresses to get you onto the allow list for Champions.io. To be honest, if you go and watch Squiddy on Twitch, he's always trying to encourage his Twitch viewers to get on the allow list. So just pester him on Twitch if you missed out on it and this time through.
Hey, Gaspode, go ahead and re-roll mine and give it to somebody else. I might already have access, and if not, I'll hit up Squiddy later.
Okay, right. So we're going again. Why does it keep spinning? Right, it's doing me in a little bit. Okay, 2 fun devs. They were here. Oh, they definitely were here because I saw them. So 2 fun devs. There we go. Right. Thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks for coming and listening to what we've been about. We've talked to Champions, Ascension, Space, Royale, NFT, MetaGames Online. If you are someone who enjoys Soul, I do have a pinned tweet at the moment, which is live for another 24 hours now, where I will be giving away 2 Soul to 1 lucky winner. I would definitely appreciate if you also tag a couple of games that you're interested in, because I'm using it as a way of farming new games as well. But thanks everyone for coming. Make sure to follow the games that we've had up here. If you have any games yourself that you would like to be involved and come on, just slide into my DMs. I am always open for getting people up, regardless of the size of your project. I want to speak to you. Just make sure you actually have a game idea, and you're not just trying to sell a Ponzi. Would be my only caveat to that. But I will catch everyone next week, and keep an eye out for the recording going up on YouTube so you can watch it and share it with your communities with timestamps. So I'll catch everyone later. Cheers all.